Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to continue working with Fusion, and today what we have to discuss is how to use splines and how to use keyframes. But if I was just explaining the features and explaining how to work with them without the context, it is not going to be remembered by anybody. So we're going to make an example, and to make an example we're going to make some simple animation, and on that animation I'm going to demonstrate how to use the keyframes and how to use the splines. So let's get going. We're gonna open effects, and we're gonna open effects in the effects, which is kind of cool, and we're going to select this Fusion composition and drag it in here. By default it is going to be 5 seconds long, which is fine by me. That's why I'm going to click Fusion and go to the Fusion page. As before, this is just a media out because we got nothing to fit into the Fusion, from Fusion to the edit, because we created a newborn Fusion composition. But I have something in here that we are going to use. First of all, we're going to use these flying sparkles, which is, no, this is not what we're going to use. What we're going to use, what we're going to start with is the background. I'm going to drag it in here. I'm going to connect it to media out. Nice, nice. But it's not so nice. That's why I'm going to create a gradient. I'm going to select like a very interesting color and make a gradient that is kind of almost beautiful. Okay, now we can drag the sparkling footage in here and connect it to the background. In order to connect it to the background and create the merge node automatically, I'm going to just drag the output of the media in to the background, and it's going to create a merge node. As you can see, this footage is not big enough. That's why I'm going to use the merge node in order to increase its size. And we do not really see the background. That's why I'm going to change apply mode to screen. Right now we can see the background and the footage, but the footage is kind of bright, too bright for my taste. That's why I'm going to reduce the blend to make it like very subtle, not that in your face. Let's connect, let's make a room because we're going to connect several things in here. Now let's connect this thing, which is Super 8 film-like simulation. You're gonna understand what I'm talking about once I get it in here. But instead of just demonstrating the effect itself, this footage starts with like numerous amount of seconds displaying just the name of the footage, which I do not really want. By clicking the footage itself, we have this trim slider. I'm going to move the initial point in here, and I'm going to find the portion of the video which I like. For example, this one. This way I trimmed the footage, I changed the in and out points, which is great. I'm going to click merge, and I'm going to increase the size again. If you need to make finer corrections, just hold Control and do it like this. But again, we cannot see anything. That's why I'm going to change this to screen also. Okay, now it's looking better. Now what I'm going to connect is this countdown. I do not know why I'm connecting all of that. This is not that pretty, but I had to have something to work with. I'm connecting a countdown. This countdown starting like not from the start as well. So we're going to click media in 3. You're going to find the trim portion of the video. For example, 5, 4, 3, and then black. Where is 2 and 1? 2 and then black. Nice. Let's start from something like 4. Okay. We're starting from something like 4, going to the merge, increasing the size again to something like this. And we're going to change this to multiply because everything around this thing is white. And to remove something that is white, we are going to need to have multiply effect, and it's going to completely blacken here. We're gonna fix that, but a bit later. We're gonna move these two things to the right because we are going to need to insert a text in here, because this is an intro to somebody's channel, for example to mine, And I'm going to find text in here. If I type it correctly, text plus. We're going to use text plus. I'm going to connect it in between. It is working like layers from left to right or from top to bottom, depending on how you arrange that. I arrange it from left to right. That's why I'm going to insert our text in between our sparkles, our like little flies, and in between these Super 8. By the way, we are going to rename them. F2, this is sparkles. This one is super. Thank you very much. This is not what I wanted to do. F2, Super 8. And this one, I do not remember. This is a countdown. Right. Now I do not really need this one. We're going to connect the text in our pipeline. We are going to type something in this text, like the name of my channel. We are going to change that font and increase the size. But because it is in between those numbers, it's probably maybe good, maybe bad, do not really know. Who cares? This is not the tutorial about the intro. This is the tutorial about keyframes and splines. To that text, we're going to add glow, control spacebar. I remember that it is a spacebar this time, and add glow. We're going to add glow. Glow size will be smaller. Glow itself will be smaller. And I'm going to add different colors to make it pop, because this is boring a little bit. Yeah, let's make it like this. Fine. Now we're going to add an effect that we really wanted to make it special. Let's add a drip effect. Drip effect, we're going to change the shape to random. And as you can see, this is like a cool effect, but for some reason, it is going to be constricted by this rectangle. And the reason for that is because this text created a rectangle, and effect can work only within that rectangle. And we do not really want that because it looks awful. To fix that, we're going to use a little trick. We're going to drag a background. We're going to remove alpha from the background, thus making it transparent. And we're going to insert it in between glow and drip, somewhere in here. We are going to make it a little bit more organized in here. Come on. Yeah. And now if we increase amplitude, this is the way we wanted this effect to work. Let's start animating stuff. Let's go to the beginning of our animation and increase the drip to its maximum amplitude. Let's press a keyframe. Then after 24 frames, like after 1 second, we are going to reduce that to almost nothing, to 0024. Let's have a look how it looks. Let's have a look how it looks. Sounds strange. And it looks not that good because this animation is going to follow a linear path. And this is not the path that you typically want for your animation. That's why we're going to use splines in here. We're going to open splines, we're going to enable our effect, and we're going to press fit to zoom to fit. Yeah, we're going to select 2 of our key points that we have created, right click, ease, and out cubic. This way I can make it even more drastic by this handle. Yeah, it means that it's going to happen very quickly at the beginning and very slowly at the end. This is easing in and easing out. I've already talked about that a little bit, and this is probably too quickly. I can reduce that by moving the handle. Yeah, but I want this text, the name of mine, not really the name of the channel. I want this to move back from me, because right now this is kind of boring. So what do? I can use a merge, but here is the deal. If I use the merge to animate, if I change the size, as you can see, the effect of the drip effect is changing as well. So I cannot really use this method to change the sizing of my text. That's why in between the text and everything else, I'm going to press Control spacebar, type XF, which is transform. I'm going to add a transform in here. I'm going to use the transform for that animation. Size 1, click our diamond, go to the frame like 50 something 50 and reduce the size a little bit. And it's going to follow a linear animation curve, which is not a curve because it is a linear. We're going to open Splines again, and now we have not only drop in here, but we have also the size. Drop we do not really need right now at this moment. Gonna zoom to fit. This is the size. So I'm going to select that, right click, ease out cubic, the same thing that I did before. And now this is going to move faster at the beginning and slower at the end, which looks slightly better. Yeah. And this is like all I wanted to do. Well, and how do we fix this going to complete blackness at the end? This is where the Keyframes tab is coming into play. Let's open the Keyframes tab, zoom to fit, and we have all of the notes that we created in here. And this, in my personal opinion, this tab is not really useful for working with the keyframes themselves, because this is like all over the place. I can open the keyframes that I have created. It is easy to locate them by these arrows, like transform size and amplitude and all of that. But I do not really want to move them in here or to change the way they behave. This tab is perfect for trimming. And what do I mean? Let's find the countdown effect. It is in here. I do not want this countdown effect to overlap our whole footage and go it into black. That's why I'm going to find the portion of where I want to cut it, like a 2. I'm going to find the footage and I'm going to trim it in here. Right? And now I have a countdown, but it's not going to black. It is just going to disappear. You can, in here, if you're overwhelmed by all of this, you can select show only selected tools, and this way it is going to show you only the thing that you have selected. You can also create filters. It means that you are looking for something using your personal filter. Or you can expand something, show values of your keyframes. You have a lot of things in here, and you can also open a spreadsheet. A spreadsheet is going to show you your keyframes that you have created in this like Excel fashion. I do not really know how to explain that better that I'm explaining right now. Also, you can move those keyframes in relation with each other. For example, if I want to move one keyframe, I would just select it and I would just move it in here. But if I wanted to move two keyframes in relation with each other, I would use the stretching tool. By stretching tool, I'm selecting these two keyframes, and now they are moving in relation with each other, which is, well, kinda useful. Right? What the hell is this? This is nothing. Great. Also, some people are used to viewing keyframes as dots, and these like line does not really make a lot of sense. So right click, option, display points values. And right now you can see this very gradual line that we created between 2 points, and it's displayed the same way like it is going to be in Splines. Options, display points, disable. Also, you can enable auto snapping to something that you desire, because auto snapping is your friend, actually. Line size, medium. It is not helpful at all. Line size. Okay, fine. Now, what we can do in here as well, we can create like markers. Go in here, right click, add a marker. Why is it helpful in here? If you position a marker at a certain point that you want to create your effect, you position one marker and then you create a second marker and you have two markers, which is great. But then you can press Shift G and you can view all of the markers that you created and you can jump between them. And it is an easy and a fast way to work with complex effects. You can also right click and delete marker and right click and delete marker. So this is the type of situation where you would use the Keyframe tab to organize your footage. Basically, it is perfect for trimming. It is the best feature for trimming inside of the Fusion. But if you want to fine-tune the way that something behaves in your animation, you're going to use Spline. Spline, it's like the perfect way to view your animation as a graph and to use some built-in tools to make it better. For example, if I wanted this thing to repeat itself several times, I would just press one of these three tools, because they are going to create this effect whether it is starting from the start several times or it is going to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, or this is going to be descending but in this like wavy fashion. This is really useful for creating like flickering lamp or rotating wheel. You do not really need to animate every rotation. You just animate one rotation and then copy that using these tools. These are the buttons that allow you to create different shapes. For example, if I create this shape, it's not going to move slowly, it's going to just jump from one position to the other. The quickest way to create a smooth curve, if you want to just smooth them, you just create those points and press F. This is going to create a smooth transition, smooth animation. If you want to, like I demonstrated before, if you want to create something more interesting, right click, ease, and ease in, ease in out. You can also make it linear again. There are a lot of options in here that you can do. You can even export and import splines for your future projects. And you are going to select the tool that you're working with, and you're going to adjust it the way you want. Also, a very useful tool, we have time stretching in here like before, but we also have this box. This box is great for adjusting not only horizontal relation with these dots, but also with the keyframes, but also the vertical ones. You can squish it, changing the values themselves. So I hope that working in Fusion with animations with splines and keyframes now have become a little bit easier to understand. These controls are very similar to the ones that we discussed in the keyframes. And we are going to use these tools a lot in the future tutorials, because these are the main three tabs that we are going to use all of the time: node editor, spline, and keyframes. That's why I do not really see the point in discussing all of the features separately in here. We're going to view them all anyways during our tutorial. So thank you for being here. I do not know what is happening with my eye. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I'm going to see you in the next video. I'm going to go and fix my eye. Bye.